So this week, the Barefoot investor sent out an email and basically critiquing the expansion of the first home guarantee scheme. Now, I generally like what the Barefoot investor says when it comes to money management and when it comes to, I guess, a conservative approach to saving and debt consolidation. I generally disagree pretty strongly with what he says about lending because I don't think he knows what he's talking about. And I think this email that he sent out today is a perfect example of this. So he basically critiques the first home guarantee scheme on three main fronts. One is that it's going to drive up property prices, which further disadvantages young people trying to get into the property market. Secondly, that this lending at 95% carries a lot of risk because these purchasers who are buying properties at 95% LVR are going to get themselves into negative equity, and they're going to get themselves into loans they can't afford because interest rates are going to go up. So I'll take the first point first. Property prices are going to increase. I think that it's not going to make a huge difference on property prices because it's only a small subset of the market that both have too high an income to qualify for the previous first home guarantee scheme, but also don't have the deposit to satisfy a loan normally. And so on the ground, I'm probably seeing the vast majority of clients either already qualifying for the first home guarantee scheme or not needing it. It's only a small subset of clients who this change actually dramatically affects. But let's say he's right and the property prices will increase, which I think is genuinely quite possible. So property prices increase. He then says that this is going to allow young people to get into loans they can't afford and they're going to get negative equity. But if property prices are going to increase, if you buy a property today and property prices increase dramatically because of the first home guarantee scheme, your property is also increased in value, which means that you are not in negative equity. In fact, you've gained some equity and you've done quite well out of the first home guarantee scheme. So the fact that it's going to increase the property prices and the fact that people are going to get themselves in negative equity, they can't both be true. You're either going to have property prices go up, in which case you're not getting into negative equity, or property prices don't go up and you've got the risk of negative equity. But the second point he makes is there's a complete misunderstanding of lending. So he says that interest rates will rise or could rise, and this is going to cause a lot of people to be unable to afford their mortgages. The 95% lending has got nothing to do with affordability. When we assess a loan, we need to prove that someone can afford a home loan with a 3% buffer on top of that interest rate. So if your home loan's 5.5%, we need to prove to the bank that you can afford that loan at 8.5% to make sure that you're protected in case there are some minor interest rate rises. So I think in summary, I disagree with what he says. I think the first home guarantee scheme expansion is great as it helps more people get to the market. Thoughts?